I would like to start this lab by asking our colleagues from Ukraine, Mr. Artem Романюков and Mr. Pavlo Tkachenko, to start their presentation. It's really great to see you here, dear friends, and we look forward to your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Okay. It's just a few seconds. I will set up the presentation.
Of course.
View. How to start slideshow. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay. Okay, it's working. Thank you. So, my name is Pavlo Tkachenko, and we would like, hi everyone, we would like to give you a short brief about Safe EcoBot. That's a digital tool for personal and environmental protection. Right now, we have more than 1.5 million chatbot users in 15 countries, and our chatbot speaks in 11 languages. But it was not always so. 4 years ago, we were just a few citizens who were fighting for the clean and safe environment against privately owned, non-modernized, coal-based thermal power plant, which is located in the heart of our city Dnipro. And it was a very long and very hard advocacy campaign, which first in Ukrainian history used the newly adopted environment impact assessment law as a tool for civic engagement. Long story short, as we see on the slide, we had a lot of meetings, protests, street rallies in Ukraine and even in other countries. We had speeches in Ukrainian parliament, meetings with Minister of Ecology. And finally, the enterprise took the obligations that they will invest more than 30 million euros in the ecological modernization of their power plant. Right now, they already invested near 10 million euros and built huge electric filter on one of the blocks. And here you can see that it's electric filter. And it looks not like the electric filter, but believe me, that's huge electric filter. And during the campaign, we were working with a lot of environmental documents about enterprise. We were tracking manually online registries. And once upon a day, we got an idea why not to create a system which will track all this automatically. And we realized one more thing, that in Ukraine we do not have any information about the air quality. So tracking environmental legal data and air quality, that's two big ideas which are standing behind our system. This is how our Safe EcoBot was born. And here you can see we are presenting Safe EcoBot with the Minister of Ecology in the Cabinet of Minister. And later with another one minister and with another one. Here it is. Okay, yes. Here's the second from the left. Ministers are changing very frequently in Ukraine, but never mind about that. Why did we do it, and why did we create that tool? Air pollution is the silent killer. World Health Organization estimates that around 7 million people die every year from exposure to particulate matter in polluted air. It's also called fine dust, and that's a result of the combustion of any kind. It can be a vehicle or metallurgical plant, it can be power plant, or even a barbecue on your backyard. So some people live at higher risk than others. And they would like, and for example, if you live near the power plant and in case of emergency, you would like to know that emergency happens and you would like to be alerted about that. But we don't have information, but nobody alerts you in Ukraine. Or the same situation with wildfires. You are not able to foresee it, but you would like to know when the air becomes dangerous. All of a sudden, we realized that everybody in Ukraine realizes that air is poor, but we don't have air quality data. So we had to invent not only notification feature, but also we need an air quality system which will measure, and since the first step to solve the problem is to realize its scale. And we found the solution. Let me give a microphone to my colleague, Artem.
Thank you, Pasha. Let's change. Yeah, so my part is about the solution, and I'm very proud of the one that we have elaborated. Here's actually it. Excuse me, yeah. There it is. So what we did is we created a super affordable air quality sensor. Here it is in my hands right now. And you buy this air quality sensor, and all the data that it generates becomes public. And then we created chatbot, and you simply send your location to our chatbot, and then it gives you a list of stations near you, and then you simply choose the station that you want to subscribe to. You subscribe to it, and then relax and just receive notifications on air quality. We didn't expect it, but it led us to a huge impact. We couldn't even imagine that just in 2 years after the start of our initiative, Ukraine would adopt the new regulations on PM 2.5 and PM 10 particulate matter in the ambient air. It's actually happened in the first time in Ukrainian history. And what is even more important is that you can see on this slide that just in 2018, Ukraine was a white spot on all the air quality maps and rankings all over the world. And now it's pretty tightly covered with air quality sensors. And what's even more important is that we got included in decision-making process. So we created awareness from the bottom, and it helped us to gain influence in Ukrainian parliament, in cabinet of ministers, in state environmental inspectorate, and many other public authorities. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I couldn't even, if you ask any Ukrainian what air quality index is, they wouldn't know. And now you can see those billboards, they're all over Ukraine, showing air quality index, AQI, real time, sometimes even using our data. Yeah, and the next one, here you can see the major Ukrainian media outlets, TV channel actually, and our data is shown in weather forecast. Yeah, that was the spoiler. And the next one, we each morning we're going live on the biggest Ukrainian radio network, Ukrainian Radio. And you know, there was a funny thing with this. We didn't know how to visualize radio because, you know, it's something that you listen to, not that you watch. And we decided to simply show you the truth. This is how it happens at 7 a.m. each morning. One of the members of our team just goes live on Ukrainian radio. The thing that we are really proud of is also that we started cooperation with Ukrainian schools. This is all due to our beloved partner, UNICEF. They helped us manufacture more sensors and to distribute them among Ukrainian schools. And here you can see Ukrainian children assembling our stations, and then those handmade stations, just like this one, they put it on the school building, and both parents and teachers and children are aware of air quality. And finally, we grew international. Here is Rakuten, which you all probably know as Viber Messenger. They partnered with us and helped us scale up in 14 more countries. So now we got 15 countries and 1.5 million users on board with our chatbot. And all of this, of course, thanks to our beautiful partners, among which are European Commission and already mentioned UNICEF and Kingdom of Netherlands and Czech government and so on and so forth. As for the plans for the future, we have both global and local plans. And the first one is global. We believe that each and every square kilometer of the urban area worldwide should be covered with at least 5 sensors. The second goal is local. And we went further and started digitalizing air emission permits in Ukraine. And again, the same situation as with radio. We didn't know how to visualize it. So here you can see a hand of the now sitting Minister of Ecology of Ukraine presenting our system in the Ukrainian parliament. So this is the guy that you saw several slides before. And the third goal for the nearest future is both local and global. We call it Balkan Expansion. And here you can see one of our recent meetings with the mayor of Tirana, which is the capital of Albania. And all of this, of course, thanks to our great team. So thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Pavlo. Thank you so much, Artyom. Excellent presentation, and also, of course, very encouraging. And I can only hope that you reach your goal to cover each of the urban square kilometers with 5 sensors. That sounds very impressive. Before I hand the floor to the discussants, could you just, for ignorant people like myself, could you explain what this PM 2.5 and PM 10 actually means?
Yeah, of course. PM 2.5 and PM 10, this is fine dust particles. They're very small, and those numbers, 2.5 and 10, means microns. So it's very small. It's, PM 2.5 is every particle that is smaller than 2.5 microns. And PM 10, respectively, is the particle which is smaller than 10 microns. It is dangerous because of its size. There's no limits for it. It's not only you breathe it in, it can even go through your skin due to its very, very small size. So it is recognized by the World Health Organization as one of the most dangerous air pollutants which exist. And this is the result of combustion of any type. So whether it's like vehicle or power plants, burning coal or burning wood, no matter what, everything that burns generates PM 2.5, PM 10, and other particle dust.
Thank you so much, Artyom. With this clarification, that at least it helped me a lot to understand better what you have said. Thank you for this. With this, I would like to hand the floor over to the discussants, and we'll start with Fikret for your initial comments and perhaps questions.
Okay, thank you very much. A very impressive project, I must say, and I would also like to congratulate you all. I have 2 questions that might provide further information about the project. The first one is whether you have been challenged by the accuracy of your gadget. Because, you know, some authorities may want to hide the information about the air quality. So therefore, here we are talking about a monitoring activity by the people, right? So, and therefore, the connection between environmental movements and democratic rights. And in case you have been accused about the lack of accuracy, you know, what was your answer? That will be my first question. My second question is, you have outlined a list of supporting institutions, and I'm just wondering whether, you know, they will keep supporting you, and therefore, what is the sustainability of your project, and to what extent you can sort of further increase the number of people using your gadgets. And my third point is whether you have been informed about the Environmental Justice Atlas, a platform, a digital platform that that connects the injustices, environmental injustices on the world. And if not, then perhaps you may want to get in touch with these people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fikret.
Thank you for questions.
Or
Thank you.
Pablo, you want to answer?
Yeah, I would like to answer the first question about the accuracy of the data. So, if we will go to the past and see that, like 4 years ago in Ukraine, we had no any data. We had just a few regions where we had air quality sensors from the government, from local governments, but they had no even sensor for particulate matter with division by the size. So they just were measuring dust as a dust, but without any division by size. And when we found that there is no data, we started learning worldwide experience and found that there is a small NGO in Stuttgart, Luftdaten, right now it's named Sensor Community, and they already installed in 2019 more than, they are, and their supporters and other users who are using their instructions, they already installed more than 10,000 stations worldwide. And when there is a vacuum of some service, something has to fill that. And that happened in Ukraine, that the vacuum of air quality data was filled with the civic tool, with the local sensors, which were already used worldwide and was trusted by users, by people, by citizens. And we started then checking and correlating and measuring the data between our sensors and local sensors, which then happen burning from local government and even from state governments. And even some, I remember that we have one of the source of the data that's EU certified sensors. And they're using the same sensor which we have inside of our tool and in our device. And the information was correlating. Everything was great. So for us, even if the difference between our data and official information is like in the 10 or even 20%, we see the trend that the air quality becomes poor and it becomes dangerous. It's enough for people to protect themselves. But of course, that information we are not able to use in a court. But for that, we are creating a pressure on governments that please, the air quality is very bad. Please install official stations so we will be able to use it in our cases in the courts and any other places. Something like that. Thank you so much.
Okay, and one more point here is that is about strategy. So our strategy is not to give you a precise data. Our strategy is to give you as much data as we can, so that we create a big data which shows trend, exact trend. If the air quality is worsening, then you'll definitely see this. This is why it is super affordable to create as much data as possible, to distribute as much sensors as possible to show the trend. This is our mission. And the mission of government is to install precise measuring tools and then probably compare or take into account our data. But in the situation when you have absolutely no data, this data is very valuable.
Could I just, sorry, Fikret, maybe we have the same question, but one of Mr. Fikret's questions was also long-term financial sustainability. If you are, will you become not dependent on donors at some point?
Yeah, of course. One of the tools that provides us with this kind of sustainability is our subscribers. So we have a regular donation tool, which allows people to donate for our service. The other thing is that we actually earn money selling these sensors. We are a non-profit organization, and all this money is reinvested in just constructing more sensors or improving technology and so on and so on. This is the third version of this sensor, by the way. So yes, we think constantly about getting more sustainability, and all these partners that were mentioned, they're not only like donating money or like any goods, they also help like in media. They help raising awareness, like UNICEF, for example. We have now, we are now starting the joint project with the Uklon. I don't know if you know it. It's analog of Uber, but based in Ukraine. And they are just donating a small percent of money per each ride to us, and UNICEF helps us gather together the schools community, and then to donate this kind of sensors to schools, and money gathered from this shared ride enterprise.
Thank you very much. Before I give the floor to give the floor to all of you, we have another discussant. So, Mr. Jesus, will you please ask your questions?
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Tkachenko and Romanykov. I think it's a very interesting project, and I wanted to ask you something relating to the data. As you said, you want to identify some trends on what is going on, right, in terms of pollution. You said that you need 5 sensors per square kilometer, if I am right?
This is our big dream.
That's your goal, right? Have you considered crossing this data with other data, such as a weather forecast, or such as, I don't know, perhaps movement in terms of the people going or traveling around the city, so you can track and you can see what actions are the ones that are creating and are more polluting, and also as you can map the city with these sensors, you can spot which places are the ones that are more polluting.
Sure. I don't think it's a question. It's like a comment or
no, like, I mean, my question is, have you considered adding other sources of data to the already existing data that you have, just to, gather a more valuable insight?
Oh, I can share one insight with you. For example, it's also among the plans for the future, but we didn't mention it here because it's still raw. It's, for example, using our data, you can go safely from point A to point B using navigation tool with embedded air pollution control. Like we gathered the data where, and we, for example, we know that you have any kind of breathing disease or something like this. And you need to be less exposed to air pollution with PM particles than other people. Then you just like put this in our application or to the chatbot, and then you go to navigation software, and then you just make your route, which excludes points with bigger air pollution, for example. So this is how the data can be used in other way. Is this the answer to your question? More or less? Yeah, maybe I got something wrong.
So
Thank you very much.
I can show you one more thing that, for example, we have also the website besides the chatbot, and we are collecting data for near 3 years, and one of the things which is really great showing you the problem of the air quality in Kyiv, that's the data for the past 3 years. And you can see that from October till April, all the time we have dirty air, most of the time. Because we have, it's like when the heating started, when the burning of leaves started in Ukraine, it's still a huge problem. And we have no such information from government, but we have it from our sources, from our station. And it's enough to deliver to people that we have a huge problem with air in Ukraine. And even here you can see a huge spike here. That was last year on April, a huge wildfires in Chernobyl area. And that's a confirmation of the problem, which is just in the data, in the big data. And you're not able to hide it anymore, because you can see it on chart, you can download ref data, analyze it by yourself. We give options to download every single byte. We're not changing anything. We are collecting gigabytes of the information and giving it for free for everybody. So that's also one of our goals, to give all the data for free as much as we can. And it's very powerful.
Thank you very much for this, and thank you, discussants, for asking very pertinent questions. I will now open the floor to the audience, and we'll begin with Madam over here. If you could introduce yourself and ask your question.
Sure. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you. My name is Vart, and I'm representing Yerevan School of Political Studies. My question refers to dissemination. Are there any special tools that are applied to disseminate more information that will give opportunity more people to know about the product and get engaged in using it? Thank you.
As for the distribution, as we already mentioned, we're now broadcasted via TV and radio, and of course we still use internet and Facebook and social media to promote this initiative. And one more thing that helps us distribute our data and our service is that we have this unique function here. So, you know, it was always a problem that we scare people with our data. We scare them with like poor air quality, but do not give them any solution to this. Well, we tried to embed some recommendations on how to behave yourself under this and that conditions, but it was too small. And then we created this tool, pollution complaints. And it's embedded right in the chatbot. And if you see something like ecological injustice, any kind of environmental injustice here, you can simply push the button, complain, and then the chatbot will ask you several simple questions like what you see, where do you see, can you send me your location if you're near the pollution, which is happening right now, or was it like several days before? And then you send this information to a chatbot, and it gives you a pre-filled PDF with the complaint, which is approved by both State Environmental Inspectorate and Ministry of Ecology, and then you simply share your personal data, if you will, with our chatbot, and it sends it to the proper email. And then you just need to track your complaint. So this is a kind of engagement tools, helping people to first raise more awareness, and second to engage more in decision-making process. And third one, last but not the least, is that this is actually our solution that we give people, not only scaring them with the poor air quality, but giving them a chance to take part in solving this problem.
Fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
keep it short, please, Pavlo, because
okay, just a little short. And also, it's like three parts: that you can track the air quality, that's what has already happened. Then you can write a complaint on the problem with the different pollution. And one of the first and the major thing, you can predict the pollution, because we are tracking all available registries and procedures in Ukraine, which are started from the start which are starting when enterprise starting receiving of any license or permit. And we give instructions to users that right now that enterprise is planning, for example, to build a combustion plant in your area. And now you have a time for writing suggestions and comments. So you will say, I don't want that plant here, but if it's not possible not to build here, I would like that you will put here like thousands of trees. I would like to have monitoring of air quality. Do that. And we are giving templates. So we are delivering that also.
It's fascinating. Thank you so much. Madam, please, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for your presentation. I just have a little doubt before I ask my question. So this is a mobile device which somebody like me can go and buy and record the air quality, and then even those who don't have it can receive all the data, right?
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. So my question is that since you are talking about that this is an attempt to create a pool of data, I want to know what is the level at which you are collecting the air data, because those who are most affected by it, which is children, by air pollution, we often don't talk about them. And the ideal height for measuring air pollution for them will be 95 centimeters, which is the average height of a 3-year-old toddler. And because of their higher rate of breathing and shorter height, they're even more exposed to the particulate matter. So has there been any attempt? Is there something in your app which talks about children? And is there any air quality data relevant specifically for younger children, infants and toddlers at all? Yeah.
Okay. And again, thank you for your question. And again, big data. We don't restrict any kind of installation. Like if you want to mount it on your window on the 9th floor of your multi-story building, then just do it. We do not say people how to install these sensors. We just want them to be as many sensors as possible. And as for the children, of course, they install them on their schools' buildings. And of course, they work in like the height. In case of particulate matter, in case of PM2.5 and PM10, it's not much difference if you install it on the 1st or 5th floor. So there's not much difference what you breathe in if the air is polluted. And
yeah, I'm mostly talking about public areas because and your association with various networks to disseminate information. And when I see the map, I'm sure there are a lot of public areas that you're also talking about where monitors are. So in that case, I mean, in those places, I mean, of course, in a building, it won't really matter. But on the plain ground, at what level do you, in your communication, recommend, or in your own attempt, do you direct it towards children as well?
There's no such kind of communication between us and our user. We, again, you install it where you want to receive your data. So if you want to receive the data at any public place, then you install it on the building near any public place. And we have, like, this is internal, we don't have slides for this, but we have heat maps of such kind of installations. And these heat maps, they show us where is the greatest demand for measuring air quality. It works very simple. You just analyze data from chatbots. You analyze messages from chatbot, and you build a heat map of where there are the biggest number of requests. So people request information, but there's no sensors here. Then we have a very red point at our heat map, and we know that we need to find someone here to even give away the sensor for this person.
Okay.
Just because this person lives, for example, in near the public place where the demand for air quality data is high.
I'll just yes or no will be the answer to this one. I mean, in your communication at all, on your website, on your chatbot, or anywhere in your application, even as a recommendation, is it anywhere mentioned that somebody should consider planting it at 95 centimeter for children? I mean,
No,
nothing for children. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
With this, dear colleagues, I will end this part of our lab by thanking Pavlo, by thanking Artyom, and also by congratulating you for an excellent initiative and the fact that you actually have managed to have this impact on your government, on the public sphere, on your legislative bodies. This, I think, is very, very impressive. So thank you for an excellent presentation and good luck in the future with your work. Thank you.
Thank you for questions. Thank you.